Hey everyone, Cerebral Tackle, and it's that time of the week again, story time. Today I have a wacky one for you. You know, I love fishing night tournaments. The deep dog days of summer, 12-hour grinders from 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock the next morning. Freaking love night tournaments. But I'll tell you something. Night tournaments, you will see the strangest crap go on at night tournaments. A few of these stories y'all are going to hear over the time coming up. Tonight, though, we're going to focus on the trashpanda, the friendly raccoon, and the weird shenanigans that come with them. Now, there's been times where I've had raccoons throw rocks at my line. I heard a bloop, bloop, bloop. Took out the flashlight going, what in the hell is that? A raccoon didn't like I was fishing in his watering hole, so he was, both hands, lobbing rocks in my line. Kid you not. Other time, a tournament partner and I were going down a channel between two bodies of water. I kept catching something out of my peripheral vision. Shined the light over. There were raccoons on both sides of the canal following us at idle speed going down this channel. Like they were stalking us. I don't know what they had in mind, but we got out of there. Then, that brings us to this particular evening. This was the mother of all raccoon stories. An old fishing partner and I were fishing on a lake that I had never fished before. He was familiar with it. Well, it's, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 3. We're going down this one stretch of bank, and kind of off in the distance, we start to hear these horrible noises. It sounds like some low guttural growling mixed with some hissing, mixed with, I don't know what I would call it. As we get further and further on down this bank, the noise gets louder and louder and louder. We start to become at a point where we think we're in visual range because it sounds really close. And it sounds like it's coming up by this one particular house that's kind of up a little slope there from the bank line. Well, as we're fishing this bank line and we're hearing this get closer and closer, we finally can't help ourselves. We have to take out a spotlight and look. Well, we can tell this noise is coming up from this house. We don't want to shine our lights through anybody's house late at night. We don't want to mess with anybody, wake them up. But with all this racket going on right outside of their door, how in the hell could they be sleeping anyway? So we think, okay, let's do it. We'll grab the flashlight. What we saw next was the craziest, wildest freaking scene I've ever seen during a night tournament. And I'm going to tell you something. I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot of weird crap during night tournaments. As we shined the flashlight up towards this property, we saw back so many pairs of glistening eyes that looked at us for like a half a second. It was as if somebody was smoking something and just threw a 5-gallon bucket of pixie dust straight in the freaking air. I mean, it was just a glittery sight of all these eyeballs. They looked at us for about a half a second. Then the sounds amplified. As we looked closer up towards this house that was on this slope of this embankment, it was raccoons. I'm talking like 70, 80 of them. Literally. Under this person's carport, out in their backyard, off their back porch, onto their side yard. And it was like a good old-fashioned hockey Donnybrook. Everybody had a partner and was brawling it out. I mean, clawing, punching, biting, drop kicking, shoulder drops. I mean, it looked like WWE had lost its damn mind. Now, I don't know if any low blows were thrown, but if they thought about it, they did it. It was the most violent, wild-ass thing I had ever seen. Like I said, everybody had a partner. Throwing each other, tossing each other down. Some were rolling down that hill of the embankment towards the water. Others were chasing each other up under the carport underneath the vehicle. others throwing each other off the back porch. I mean, it was insane. Literally, once in a while you'd see one free up and jump in on another one, but it was crazy. It was nuts. And like I said, there was a good solid 70 of these critters. All this was going on just a bit too far out of range to get good cell phone footage of it. But we were going to stay for a few minutes and watch. Bet your butts we were. You don't see this every day. It was like a free pay-per-view. Now, I don't know who belonged on what team and which side was right and which side was wrong. All I know is it was really freaking entertaining. It was like National Geographic had had years' worth of footage and dropped it in your lap all at one time, live. As crazy as this sight was, as loud and as obnoxious as these noises were, the wildest thing was, there were still a couple of cars up in the carport. How in the hell do you sleep through something like that? Or, just a theory, throwing it out there, did they get to the homeowner first? Like I said, it was one of the wildest things I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of stuff during night tournaments. I'm going to bring you those stories as we go along. But wow. Like I said, those folks staying asleep, I don't know how the hell. We stayed, we probably watched for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. But finally, we were there to cash a check, right? So we proceed on down the bank. The fight was still going on. As we inched along down that shoreline fishing, the sounds grew further and further distant until they finally just faded away. I don't think the fight was over, and I don't know who won. All I know is when the folks that lived there woke up the next morning, they probably had one hell of a mess to clean up out of their yard and carport. I mean, I'm sure there was fur and blood and trash knocked over and scratches on the car, and I don't know how in the hell they slept through it, but when they woke up the next morning, yeah, they probably had to call the insurance company. So, there's the wild-ass story of how a raccoon turf war interrupted a bass tournament for a little while. I've talked to other folks, and they might have seen a couple of square off, but never that many at one time. Definitely a once-in-a-lifetime crazy event. Anyway, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll bring you more stories as they come down the pipe. Well, folks, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Until then, keep it wet.